Hello, everybody. Richard on his Churchill Fellowship. I am currently in Denmark on my final leg. I've made my way through the Nordic countries. Denmark is a beautiful city. It's very, very nice here, and the people are fantastic as well. I had a meeting with the government today, so state government agency today, to do with youth rehabilitation. And the reason why I met with them is because they do mandated mentoring, which is of interest of me. But while I was there, I explored the bigger picture. Now, this agency works in conjunction with local councils. It's a bit different than in Australia, where the state government does, the court stuff, the rehabilitation stuff, the youth justice does the whole thing. Here, the state government agency acts as sort of an oversight, and the local councils execute and they pay for the rehabilitation services and all that sort of stuff. And it was interesting, very interesting, and it's the only government agency I've got to meet with. Some of them cancelled for privacy reasons, all this sort of stuff. But that's all right. So, how it works is, it came out in 2019. There was a series of reforms in order to promote rehabilitation with youth. How it works is, a youth goes to court, gets sentenced, and then they get referred to the Youth Crime Board. Now, the Youth Crime Board is made up of someone from the state government agency, someone from the local council, but a different local council than the youth is under. So it has to be a separate one. A psychologist, and then in very serious situations, a lawyer will be present. So what they do is they get the youth and they make a rehabilitation plan. Now, this plan is mandated. If they don't follow through, you can go back to court and they can get resentenced. Now, there's a few things that this board can do. So in a very serious circumstance, they can say, this kid has to be leave from home and has to be placed elsewhere. And that is when a lawyer would be present. Other things they can do is mandate program, so anger management or something like that. Another thing they can do is mandate education, so they have to go to school or do some sort of education. They can mandate a leisure activity, which I thought was interesting. So a leisure or recreation activity might be sport, or something like that. Like, it's very, very so interesting hearing that. And the last one they do is, and this happens in most cases, they always get a mentor. So a mandated mentor that is paid by local council that works with the youth, anywhere from 2 hours a week to 10, 20 hours a week, depending on the severity of it. Now, that was interesting. Like, we don't have anything like that at home that I'm aware of. And like, mandated mentoring becoming part of like legislations and reforms, it's very interesting. And that's one thing I've noticed, is that over here, mentoring is sort of like, oh, you just send in mentors. Like, that's how you fix the problem. You send in the mentors. And but it just doesn't seem to be like that in Australia. Maybe it's getting more that way. But it was very interesting. And I obviously said to them, like, do any of your mentors have lived experience? They said, yes, they do. Yeah, some of them have, been to prison and all that. And I said, what do you think of them? And they said there was a language barrier here. And they said some, generally, they are good at a relationship. So building a relationship with the youth. And that has been the common theme amongst every meeting I've had. And the other thing they said was they seem to be motivated for change. So they seem to be motivated to get the youth to change. So, and that was great to hear. And the whole picture of it was very, very interesting. And like, whether we see anything like that in Australia, who knows? But like, a recidivism rate of 25% is very, very good. And, we're talking like violent offences, high offences, all the way down to like graffiti. Like, it was really, really interesting model. The only thing I would have liked is that if the youth gets caught, then they do this and then they get sentenced. But it works the other way around, and I'm not sure on the reason for that. But it was interesting. Hope you liked it. Thanks for listening.